This conference will now be recorded.
What about others? So I have got a couple of responses. What about others? It's my first programming language and interest in data science. Perfect. That sounds great. Any other reasons you want to give? Okay. So let me explain what exactly a programming language is. So what is a programming language is, according to you? So whatever you know, like I said, you are free to use Google in my session. The reason I ask questions is to make you interactive, not to test your knowledge. It's okay to give the wrong answers. It's okay to refer internet and just copy and paste. I'm fine. Okay. But try to be interactive, guys, as interactive as possible. So what is a programming language? A language used to communicate with the computer. Great. Program is a set of instructions. Okay, cool. So before we jump on to understanding a programming language, let's try to understand what exactly a program is. A program is nothing but a set of instructions which we give to the computer to get our task done. As simple as that. Okay. So a program is nothing but a set of instructions. A program is nothing but a set of instructions which we give to the computer to get our task done. Our task could be, playing an MP3 file, or playing a video file, or editing an image, or processing some data, right? Or maybe using this notepad. Could be anything, guys. Your task could be anything. Okay, but for these tasks to be done, you will have to give some set of instructions to the computer, because your computer is not self-intelligent. It cannot do anything by itself. Okay, so I hope every one of you are from India. I mean, I don't expect you to join from India, but I guess yeah, almost every I could see only Indian names. Cool. So your computer cannot play Bahubali movie by itself just because it is bored. Okay, so it has to be you who will have to play that movie. Okay, so you are actually telling computer what to do, right? So a program is nothing but a set of instructions. A program is nothing but set of instructions which you give to the computer to get your task done. Okay, and can you give the set of instructions in English, or maybe Telugu or Hindi? Will your computer be able to understand? Definitely no. Okay, so you will have to provide those instructions in a language which your computer can understand, and that language is what we refer to as programming language, guys. Okay, so you are using a notepad, some programming language is running in the backend. You are using a VLC media player, some program is running in the backend. Maybe you are using a Word document, some program is running in the background. Okay, and these programs are implemented by using a programming language. These programs are implemented by using a programming language. So this programming language would provide a means of communication between the developer or you and your computer. Okay, so that's a basic definition of a program and a programming language, guys. And now talking about a programming language, we have different programming languages. Like Python is one programming language, and Java is another programming language. C++ another programming language. Scala is another programming language. Golang is another programming language. So we do have a lot of programming languages, right? And all these programming languages will let us give instructions to the computer, right? So, for example, will your computer be able to understand Python, guys? Any guess? Say, for example, I have written some instructions in Python. Will your computer be able to understand? What do you think? Yes, no, maybe? Let's say you have given some instructions in Python to your computer. Will it be able to understand? Correct? Answer is a big no. Okay, so your computer cannot understand any of the programming languages there, be it Python, C, C++, or what other programming language you name it. Your computer will not be able to understand directly, because your computer can understand only zeros and ones. Your computer can understand only zeros and ones. Okay, now then what is that making these programming languages understandable to the computer? What is the component which is making these programming languages understandable to the computer? So we call that component as compiler. We call that we call that component as compiler. Okay, so this compiler is a component which would convert the Python instructions to the format which your computer can understand, or Java instructions. Java compiler can convert, the Java instructions to your computer. Okay, so that it can understand and execute. Okay, so there is a lot of story that is happening in the background, guys. Say, for example, there are multiple infrastructure. There are multiple components, infrastructure components that are involved in the back end, like your RAM, like your processor cores, right? And then your operating system. So a lot of things come into the picture when it comes to executing a programming language. Okay, which we will be discussing in the course of our journey. Okay, but this is what it is. Compiler is a component which would convert what are the programming language you are using to the instructions understandable by the computer. Like every programming language has its own compiler, right? So for example, you're using Python, Python has its own compiler, Python compiler. You're using Java, Java has its own compiler and Java compiler. Similarly, you have C compiler for C, so on and so forth, right? And this compiler is a component which would convert the instructions you have given in a particular programming language to the instructions that are understandable by the computer. As simple as that. It's acting just like a translator. Okay. Now Python. So this is the name which we have been hearing from past few years. Okay. So how many of you have heard this phrase, guys? Python is everything right now. How many of you have heard this phrase? Python is everything. None of you? Or Python is everywhere? Okay. So Python has a wide range of applications, guys, these days. Python is used everywhere. So when it comes to the primary applications for developing machine learning, we have to use Python. There is no other alternative. I mean, there are alternatives like other programming languages. R is one alternative which can replace Python, but R is not scalable. R is not scalable as Python. So Python has been the first choice for developing machine learning or data science applications. Data science, machine learning, deep learning, NLP. They all relate to building some automated algorithms. Okay, so whatever the term you are using, be it data science or data analytics or machine learning or deep learning or AI, artificial intelligence, there are few differences, but at the end of the day, they all will let you create some automated algorithms, as simple as that. Okay. And again, talking about data engineering, right? Even in data engineering area, the recent rockstar is PySpark. Okay. So earlier, when we are attending data engineer interviews, most of the questions will be on the technology you are using in data engineering, and then SQL data modeling. So it was in that direction. But in the recent times, without Python, data engineering interview is incomplete. So people are asking a lot of questions on Python these days in data engineering interviews too. Okay, so in data engineering, yes, Python is there. Web application, Python is still used, but not as much as in as much as in data engineering and data science. Okay, so to summarize, it's not the first choice. It's not the first choice when it comes to. Uh, just give me a second. It's not the first choice when it comes to developing web applications. Okay, and then for developing REST APIs, yes, again, the Python is the first choice. And somebody have mentioned DevOps. I'm not really sure to what extent Python can be used in DevOps, because I have never got a chance to work on DevOps. Okay. And automation, when you want to automate your daily applications or daily tasks, again, Python is the preferred programming languages these days. Okay, so these are the few applications where Python is being used, guys. And also, if somebody from in college is joining a college, or maybe you just completed your graduation, bachelor's, right? Again, Python is for you. The reason being, in the interviews, most of the fresher interviews these days are happening on Python, because they just expect you to have some knowledge in one programming language at least. Okay, and for most of the folks, it's Python today, as simple as that. So these are the various reasons why we should be learning Python. The only competitor for Python I could see these days is Golang. Golang. Okay. Again, this is going to be a rockstar, but not in near future, because the support to develop other applications has to be increased for making this Golang a rockstar. So it still has some time, but learning Python today would help you to survive at least next 5 to 10 years in the IT industry. Okay. Now, again, as I said, setting up right expectations is everything for today's session. If you are a fresher, this course would be more than enough for you to crack a job. Mark my word. Okay, you just follow my instructions and then attend the sessions regularly, you'll be able to clear the interview. But for experienced professionals, experienced professionals with 3 years of experience, 5 years of experience, this course is not going to help you to clear the interview, guys. Like I said, no company would be just recruiting a Python developer until and unless it is a kind of consulting role. Okay, but if you are looking for some full-time role, they would be expecting you to have some knowledge on a technology like data engineering or data science or web application, where you will be using Python, where you will be using Python. Okay, so second year in college, who is studying data structures, definitely Python would help. Okay, for studying data structures, again, Python might not be the um, right place to learn data structures. The reason being, most of the data structures are provided as inbuilt packages. But you need, if you want to understand the internal working of a data structure, I would always suggest either C or C++. Okay, so for example, maybe you want to implement a linked list. In Python, you directly have a package which you can use to create a list. Okay, same is the case with Java also. But in C, C++, you'll have to write a code using pointers to create that linked list. Okay, because that linked list is not readily available as a package in C, C++. So if your intention is to learn DS, I wouldn't suggest. Okay, but if you want to learn a programming language, I would definitely suggest. Okay, now let me take a pause, guys. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Now moving on, we'll jump on to the next topic, guys. Like how to learn any programming language, be it Python or be it Java or be it anything. So first things first, we'll have to learn the basics of a programming language, guys. We'll have to learn the basics of a programming language, where we need to understand what exactly a programming language is, and the syntax and semantics of the programming language. Just like you learn any new communication language. Say, for example, you are learning Hindi or maybe you are learning English. So first you'll try to understand the different constructs of the programming language. Okay. So for the same reason, we have divided our course into different modules, and our course name is a comprehensive Python course. Okay, so there is a reason why we have named it as comprehensive Python course. Let me walk you through the curriculum. Okay, so we have divided our course into multiple modules, guys. So module one is all about basics. So whatever the concepts you have in module one will be same across programming languages. Say for example, you take loops. The concept of loops would be there in Java. It will be there in Scala. It will be there in C, C++, whatnot. Okay, so the only difference is syntactical changes, and then maybe you talk about conditional statements like if else or nested if else. Same is the case. You have that concept in Python. It's there in Python, Java. It's there in Scala, whatnot. Okay, so the module one is all about such kind of topics, guys. We call them as basics or core of our course, right? So I'll start with introduction to Python, what exactly a programming language is, how the instructions are executed internally. You will have to know that to understand the concept of space complexity and time complexity. Okay, so I'm gonna explain, what's happening in the back end. Okay, so whenever you write a print hello world, what is happening in the back end. You need to know, right? And then I'm gonna walk you through installation and setup. So installation and setup, we are going to use three different softwares to develop application files. Sorry, two different softwares. One is Google Colab. Okay, so this is what we will be using to start using to in the beginning of our course. Maybe first two modules, still object-oriented programming structures, will be using Google Colab. Then I'm gonna walk you through an IDE environment called PyCharm. Okay, so we'll be using this PyCharm IDE as well, and I'll also show you how to execute your code using Python terminal too. Okay, but the third one is the least preferred way to execute your Python code. But I'll be walking you through first to Google Colab and PyCharm IDE. Okay, like I said, first three modules will be on Google Colab. Okay, because it's the easiest way to get started, right? And then we'll start with keywords, variables, data types. Then we'll talk about conditional statements. Conditional statements is nothing but your if else, nested if else. Loops, we have two types of loops supported in Python, for loop and while loop. Then we'll talk about control flow, where we have three statements: continue, pass, and break. Then we'll talk about arrays. Then we'll talk about functions, where we'll be talking about two types of functions: inbuilt functions and user-defined functions. How to create a function, and we'll talk about recursion. We'll talk about functions with multiple arguments. There are different types of functions that are supported in Python, guys, which are pretty interesting. So we'll talk about all those types, right? And then we'll jump on to the most important topic: strings and string manipulation functions. Because in Python, strings has a separate role altogether, unlike any other data types, because it's a kind of superlative. Okay, so where we'll be using these functions every now and then when you're developing applications, even in your interviews, right? Most of the questions they'll be asking on string manipulation functions. Okay, and then we'll jump on to Python date, calendar, and time delta. So how do we deal with the functions that are involving dates? Okay, and then we have time delta. Say for example, how to get the date 1 year ago, or how to get the first day of every month, date for first day of every month, or how to get or how to use the calendar modules. So these are the few things which we will be walking you through in this topic. Then we'll talk about Python lambda functions, or you can call this as functional programming paradigm in Python. So how we do the Python functional programming, how do we use these lambda functions? There are different functions here like map, flat map, and filter. So I'll be walking you through those concepts. Then we'll jump on to modules. How do we create Python modules? Like I mean, till this topic, I'll be walking you through after object-oriented programming structures is completed. Just give me a second, guys. Okay. Yeah, then I'm gonna walk you through file IO. So this is a concept where we will be learning how to read data from a file and how to write data back to a file. And I'll be walking you through different file types. How to read data from a text file, how to read data from a CSV file, how to read data from an Excel file. And then there is another type of file, the most used file in IT is JSON, JavaScript object notation. The full form of JSON is JavaScript object notation. So we'll get to learn what exactly a JSON file is, how to read data from a JSON file, and how to write data back to a JSON file, so on and so forth. Okay, and once we are done with that, this is the most important module, guys. Module 2, be it developing your Python applications, or be it during your interviews, you will face a lot of heat in this module. Okay, so here we will be predominantly focusing on four collections, or we call them as collection data types in Python, where I'll be walking you through list, and then set, dictionary or dict, and tuple. Okay, and there is one variant of set called frozen set. Okay, so these are the five collections which I'm gonna walk you through. So these collections are meant to store multiple values during the execution of your program. So how these collections would be holding those values, and what are the different functionalities you can do on top of these collections, is the crux of this module. Okay, and then comes module 3, object oriented programming structure concepts. Okay, so this is another module which would help you to develop better code. Okay, again, let's say you are into data engineering or data science. Module 3 is not of much help to you, but if you are aiming for learning Django or Flask or any web development applications after this course, module 3 is of paramount importance. Okay, so here we'll get to learn what exactly a class is, what exactly an object is, and then we'll get to learn different types of methods we have, different types of variables we have, like class variable, instance variable, static method, class method, instance method, right? Then we'll get to learn about inheritance, we'll get to learn about abstraction, whatnot. There are a lot of concepts that are there in object oriented programming structures, guys. And for freshers also, this module is really important in the context of your interviews. Okay, and then we have module 4, which is miscellaneous topics, where I'll be dealing with exception handling, another important concept. And then Python email will be covered theoretically, because there are some authentication issues, right? So I'll be walking you through them, but I'll not be able to run the code and show you, right? And then Python JSON. Then we have Python decorators and generators. Okay. So till module 4, if you are able to complete, you are good with Python, guys. Python as a programming language. Okay. Now you can directly start applications of Python, like maybe you can go and start data science, or maybe you can go and start data engineering, or maybe you can go and start web application development. Okay, so till module 4, if you are able to complete, you are good with Python as a programming language. Okay, to justify the name we have given to our course, comprehensive Python training, I have added up a few more modules, just to show you how Python is being used in those areas. Okay, so Python for data science. Here I'm gonna walk you through how Python is used in data science. Okay, so here I'm not gonna cover extensively, but I'll be spending a week on this module just to give you the holistic idea of what Python has to offer for data science. So NumPy stands for numerical Python, which has all the numerical methods that would help you to create your machine learning applications. And then we have Pandas. Again, Pandas is a module which has all the functionalities to functionalities to clean your data, or to transform your data, or to do some exploratory analysis on top of your data, right? So Pandas has that capability. Then we have Matplotlib and Seaborn. There are a couple of visualization packages, guys. So we will be using those packages as well to see, how we can visualize our data and then interpret something out of it. Okay. Then moving on to the last module, which is JDBC. The full form of JDBC is Java Database Connectivity. Okay, so talking about this Java database connectivity, I'm gonna walk you through what exactly a database software is, and then how we can interact with database using Python, guys. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. Say, for example, maybe you are registering for some website. Maybe I have created an e-retail website saying, careeritonline.com, where you can purchase different courses over here. So the first step you'll have to do is sign up. Okay, so whenever you want to sign up, you'll have to register yourself. You'll have to fill a registration form giving all the required details like your first name, last name, email ID, mobile number, password, so on and so forth. And the moment you click on sign up, I will have to store that data in my database. That data in my database, Career IT online database. Okay, and whenever you want to register, whenever you want to log in again, I'll have to use these details to authenticate you. Okay, so the communication between your web page and the database would be happening via this JDBC. This JDBC. So though the name is misleading, Java database connectivity, you can use this JDBC using other programming languages too. Okay, so this is the component which is letting you to store or interact with a database, be it storing or retrieving data. I'm going to show you how that can be done. Okay, where I'm going to show you how to insert data, how to retrieve data, how to update your data. Say for example, you want to change your communication address, so we will have to update your communication address in our database. Or maybe you want to change your mobile number, we have to update your mobile number in our database. Or maybe you want to unregister, unsubscribe from our marketing emails or marketing messages, we'll have to delete your record. I'm going to show you how to do all these operations. Okay, and the best part about my course is workshops, guys. So workshops are the sessions where you will be coding along with me. Okay, so I have divided the entire course into 4 parts, and at the end of every part we'll have a workshop. Okay, so for example, once I have done with all the basic concepts, we will get into this coding simple games using Python. Like we implement some sticks game, and then we play some guessing game, and then we'll talk about few use cases there which you will be implementing along with me to understand how the basic concepts works. Okay, and then we have call center payment system. Okay, so we take a use case, guys. We took a use case for this particular workshop, where the user would be, or the client would be giving their requirements. So for example, they want to build a call center payment system where they'll be paying their employees on a hourly basis. Okay, so they'll be providing us with some requirement document, and we will start with the design part. Okay, so where we'll try to understand the requirements first, and then we'll design the solution, and then we'll jump onto the coding to complete that particular project. Okay, so this is another interesting use case. You'll not find it anywhere on the internet. Okay, so that is my brainchild, right? And then once we are done with Python for data science, I'm gonna show you a couple of interesting examples again. So one example, I'm gonna show you how to edit an image. Okay, we will take an image, any image it can be, of JPG format, and then we'll try to crop the image, we'll try to tilt the image, we'll try to rotate the image, and then we'll try to highlight the green component, red component, or blue component. Right, any color is a combination of RGB values. Okay, so during that exercise, I'm gonna walk you through some interesting concepts of image processing as well. You'll get to learn some concepts of image processing. So what exactly an image is, what a pixel is, and then how an image is formed. Okay, and how can you play around with the pixels, because image editing is all about playing around with pixels. You cut the pixels, your image would be cropped. Okay, and then you change the RGB values of your pixel, your image would be giving you a different effect. Okay, be it black and white, or be it crema, or whatever it is, whatever you see on your Instagram, right? So there is some kind of play around with pixels. So that's what I'm going to show you, and we will also do some exploratory analytics on top of Titanic dataset. So it's a pretty famous dataset which is available online. Okay, so we'll just take that dataset, and we'll try to analyze the survival reasons. Say, for example, how many males have survived, how many females have survived, and what are the different factors that have contributed for the survival rate, either traveling alone or traveling with a group. Okay, or maybe boarding from a different gate, or maybe the block in which the cabin is present, and maybe their age, right? So on and so forth, their age, their gender, right? So these are the different factors which could affect the survival rate. So we'll try to analyze the same using pandas, and some visualization modules we have, like NumPy or Matplotlib. Okay, so with that we will be wrapping up our course, guys, and the duration would be 40 hours. Duration would be 40 hours. I would say 35 to 40 hours. There is a reason why I'm taking that 5 sessions buffer. It all depends on your questions. So I cannot just skip your questions during the course, right? So if you have any question, I'll have to make sure that you are able to understand and you're comfortable. Only then I can move on to the next topic. So I always have that 5 session luxury. Okay, so the entire course duration would be 35 to 40 hours, and it will be from Monday to Friday. And timings, career IT folks will get back to you. Okay, so on timings, most probably it will be from 7 to 8 a.m. 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. So 1 hour before this demo time. Okay, but I will let them confirm that. Probably, once they have seen their availability, they'll be confirming that. Okay, but it won't be definitely after 9 a.m., guys. It will be before 9 a.m. Okay, so now the floor is open for question and answers. I'll be waiting for your questions. Either you can ping me, or you can unmute yourself and ask me questions.
The course content that I received in the email is different from what you just showed, but is it the same thing that you'll be teaching?
So whatever you are seeing on my screen is the latest content, Tikshana. Maybe what are the course content you have seen have introduction to Django and Flask as well. One more module which is removed for a reason. Just teaching Hello World programming Django or Flask is not helping. So another question, how can you make sure course is completed within time? From my side or from your side, Subhash? From my side, like I said, worst case it's going to be 40 hours. To be very honest, I would hardly need 32 hours, guys, to complete everything. So that is what I have in my schedule as per my calendar and as per my content. So all I need is 32 hours. But I would always project 40 hours so that even in the worst case, you'll not feel disappointed. Okay, so 40 hours is like too much. Hope that answers your question, Subhash. And also, let's say due to unavoidable consequences, if we are delaying, okay, the course. So what we usually do is once we get comfortable, uh, we will take weekend sessions also if required and on everyone's approval. So this is not going to be a one-way decision. Okay, say for example, today is 8th August. Maybe let's say we have started this course on 10th August. So 10th September, 10th October, you can mark that as the last date. Okay, let's say maybe we have fallen behind 2 3 sessions. Okay, so I would request you to attend on a weekend. Okay, only on your approval I'll be taking those sessions. I'm talking about the worstest scenario, but generally I respect your weekends. I won't disturb you. It's going to be 1 hour session, Tikshana. I didn't get what is it, MF. Yes, Monday to Friday, correct. Monday to Friday, IST. Again, I just want to, put it right way. Monday to Friday, IST. And if there is any session cancellation, you will be intimated at least a couple of days before so that you can plan accordingly. Okay. So only one request from my side, guys. So 99% of the time, we try to take the session. At the end of the day, we also want to complete the session on time so that we can start another batch. Okay, so nobody would, uh, nobody would delay the session intentionally, right? But I also want you to understand I am a working professional. Without working in the industry, I'll not be able to give you real time exposure or real time experience, right? So we always recruit people who are working in IT so that they can always give the real time exposure to the students. Okay, so that is the reason we call this relation as mentor and mentee relation. So we always tell you to treat us as mentors, not like trainers. Okay, so I also want you to understand that there will be maybe 1 or 2 incidents where I'll have to stay late at night and might not be able to take the session in the morning. So in those scenarios, I might cancel 1 or 2 sessions in the entire course. That too, if required. I'm not saying that it definitely I'm gonna cancel, but We never know. Okay. So whenever I'm stuck with production issues or whenever I'm stuck with some client meetings late night, I might have to cancel 1 or 2 sessions. But like I said, I always have that luxury of 8 hours for the same reason. Okay. Like I said, this session is all about setting up the right expectations, guys. I don't want to give you any false promises. So whatever I'm telling you, I'll do that for sure. Okay. Because I want you to join with confidence, right? And then learn something, and then by the time we complete this course, every one of you should be happy. Otherwise, no point. So that is the reason I don't do any false promises. I'm pretty transparent. You have any questions, let me know. I'll wait for a couple more minutes. If you don't have any questions, I'll wrap up this demo. But small request from my side, guys. Before you leave, please give me the feedback in the chat window. That would help us. Feedback on this demo.
I have this one question. Uh,
Yeah, go ahead,
this will
Krishna.
be the first language I will be learning, and I'm in college. So
Mhm.
after finishing this course, would there be any other mini projects that I could take part in, or you could suggest any?
I can definitely suggest Tikshana, but like I said, only by using Python, you will not be able to develop a full-fledged application which you can literally showcase it to someone. Okay, so I guess since you are talking about data structures and a
I will be
programming
majoring in data
language, you are
science.
from CSE background, correct?
Yeah, yeah, and I will be majoring in data science first.
Okay, so just go ahead and take the data science course if you are interested, or any other course if you are interested, where you can leverage Python. There you can build a lot of projects using Python. A lot of projects. I can give you a lot of websites where you can find some interesting projects. And the data science trainer from Career IT is very experienced. He's having close to 18 years of experience, real-time IT experience. So he should also be able to guide you on the same. Okay, but like I said, if you are not interested in data science, taking data science, that is also fine. If you learn it on your own, I will also be able to, suggest you on various things, and you what projects you can work on, and where you can find the right projects to showcase in your resume. I can help you with that.
Uh, yeah, yeah, thank you.
No worries. Any other questions, guys? Cool. Then we'll catch up in the first session. Hope to see every one of you there. Okay. Once again, thank you for providing us with this opportunity and attending our demo. We'll be waiting for your feedback for a couple of minutes, and we'll close this session. Thank you, guys.
Will there be the recording
Yes,
of
it
this
will.
demo? Do you think I
Yes,
can get?
recording will be provided to you.
Okay, where do I ask or just text
So
on?
generally they upload it to cloud, Google Drive, and they'll share you the Google Drive link. So from the same link, you can access every day's recording. I mean, the recording will be uploaded to the same folder every day.
Okay, okay, okay. And also, yeah, so this course, would this be too much for me for because I'm majoring in data science, or would it be
I
good
don't
to
think
learn
so.
a
I
programming
don't think
language?
so. because I'll be treating every one of you as a fresher. It doesn't matter you have 0 years of experience or 20 years of experience. I'm gonna treat you as a fresher. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll be teaching everything right from the basics. I'm gonna teach you what a RAM and a processor is.
Okay.
Okay.
And
So
and
you
it
don't
will
really
be
need to worry
helpful
about that.
in a way if
Sorry.
because data science, right? It will be helpful in the path anyway.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, guys.